I'd like to show you how to mount a blade to a foot pocket to get a really strong, lightweight and dependable fin. First you'll need a freediving foot pocket like an Omer, a Picasso, a Maris, or this Bichat. I really like the Bichat because it doesn't require dive socks. It's flexible enough, which is perfect for pool sports like underwater hockey. You also need some fiber blades. This is the underwater hockey version, the V16. They're pretty reactive, as you can see. Also lightweight. You will need sandpaper, acetone and tissue to prepare the surfaces you'll glue. If you don't have acetone, you can always use nail polish remover. You might need some soap to insert the blade into the foot pocket, as there can be a lot of friction sometimes. Once that's done, you will drill the blade to be able to mount the blade rigidly to the front of the foot pocket. And you'll need a screwdriver for that. Once that's done, you can glue the tendons of the foot pocket onto the blade, onto the sides of the blade. And for that, I recommend 3M marine adhesive sealant, which is a very strong and very flexible adhesive. The downside to using that is that it has a long cure time. It typically takes 7 days to fully cure. And you might also need some props like these mugs to hold the blade at an angle. All right. Okay, so step one, just sandpaper the tendons. And this gets rid of mold release and any kind of grease and impurities that are on it. Both sides, the whole way. I've already done this one. I'm just showing you how it's done. Also the fins, roughly from here until this edge trim, you want to roughen up the surface, and that will create a stronger bond with the glue essentially. So do that to both sides. And once that's done, just follow that with acetone. So okay, for step two, put a little bit of soap at the end of the foot pocket, the blade, and this will help it slide in as deep as possible. So once you do that, you want to tug on both sides and make sure it's evenly in and not at an angle. You can look at it from far and make sure that it isn't tilted. Well, that wasn't too bad. And make sure that the tendons don't interfere with the edge trim, and if they do, you can just remove the excess with a razor blade. But here they're perfect. Okay, step three, we're going to drill through the blade and to install these screws. So once the blade is well aligned, it's very simple. You just drill through these two holes, try to center them as much as possible, and shouldn't take much effort. Same with the other side. Okay, I find that this doesn't weaken the blade, as opposed to what many people say. And it also makes the transfer of energy more efficient. So just install the plastic parts, and we provide these plastic spacers to these screws, and what that does is it makes sure that the screw doesn't go in too far, and that's because these fiberglass blades are much thinner than their plastic counterpart. So screw them in. Alright, time to glue. So you can find this in different colors. This is white. It's available at Home Depot for around $10. And you can also have it in the form of a cartridge and different colors, black, mahogany, at a marine store. So I'm going to use this mahogany color just to show you exactly where I'm applying it, but I recommend using black, of course. Okay, so we're going to start towards the foot pocket end. We don't really need much. Trying to go as even as possible. And we're only going to do one side of the blade. Okay. And the reason we're only doing one side of the blade is that because we're only going to let it dry on one side such that it sags evenly on both the blade and the edge of the tendon, like that. Okay, now if I were to do both sides, it would sag and spread out and spread thin. Now this way, doing only one side and raising it, make sure that it's equally distributed between the blade and the tendon. Disadvantage of this way is that of course it takes time. In a few days I'll be able to move to this side, and in a few more days I'll be able to do the bottom side. The advantage though is that I use as little glue as possible, and that the glue is even between the blade and the tendon. Okay, now the other blade, same thing. Run a bead. You don't have to be very constant when you first run because you'll go over with the glove and smooth things out. And even if you don't, over a day or two, gravity will smooth things out and even things out. So let's redo it again. Just rub, spread it a little bit. Okay. And prop it up between 20 and 40 degrees. Okay, so now it's just time to wait. Okay, it's been 2 days. The glue is now tack free. It's time to glue the other side. But before, I wanted to mention that an advantage of gluing it this way is that the foot pocket and the blade are both reusable. If you ever want to separate them, all you have to do is grab the edge of the tendon and pull out really hard, kind of like peeling it away from the blade. And it will look like this. So this is a used blade and it's separated cleanly. So one could reuse this blade in another foot pocket or reuse the foot pocket on another blade. If you were to glue the inside area of the tendon, separating it might be more difficult. Okay, so let's glue this one. So same as last time, apply a small bead. Along the length. Okay. And smooth it out with a glove. Okay. Say you smeared a little bit of 5200 on the fin. No problem, just a little bit of acetone. We'll clear it right out. Okay, let's speed things up a little bit. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, send us an email at fiberfins@gmail.com. Let's now test these fins underwater.